I fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once, but I fear the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times. Bruce Lee. Pumped up on this quote, I decided to practice 10,000 spinning back kicks. However, this ended up being so much harder and took so much longer than I expected. What did I learn? What serious problems did I run into? And ultimately, how much did my spinning back kick improve after completing 10,000 reps? Finally, let's find out. But you gotta focus. Oh my gosh. So my approach was to literally just send it. But as I found out early on, one of the biggest challenges ahead would be to land this kick accurately. So I tried to go back to the basics, slow things down step by step, the turn, the lift, the kick. Trying to land each kick center mass on Bob, practicing rep after rep after rep until I hit 100 reps. And I did this for the first 3 days.
Is my form even right? I don't know.
At least for me, the difficulty of landing this kick, even when slowed down, was like level 10. And even if I did land it, I felt so disoriented and off balance after. It was just a complete mess. Now, something I also started doing early on was practicing the kick the other way. But don't worry, I did not count these reps towards the 10,000 reps. That's right. Anyways, the first 1,000 reps actually ended up taking me an entire month to complete, way longer than I expected. So in order to hopefully advance this timeline, I made the decision to step up the reps to 200 per training session. And after 2 weeks of 3 training sessions a week with 200 spinning kicks, I was just so exhausted. But I believe this blitz helped me break through to some noticeable improvement. However, I still felt like something was off with my execution, so after the 2,000th rep, I decided to slow it down again, watch some spinning back kick tutorials on YouTube, and then try to implement those techniques into my training. Now, it was here over the next 1,000 reps as I slowly picked up speed where I started to notice my kicks becoming more powerful, more accurate, and more consistent. One issue though was as my kicks got more powerful, it felt like it was taking more effort from my body. And I was finding myself only able to do about 3 sessions of 100 kicks per week. So by the time I got to only 1/3 of the way done with 10,000 reps, it was already the next year. Now I felt like I was at my limit, so I didn't want to go any faster than this, but I also really did not want to slow down at all.
Halfway. I don't even feel like it's been months. If I can just duplicate that, then we're at 10. Easier said than done.
You think I'd be celebrating a little bit more after halfway done? Well, that wasn't the case. The sheer chronic exhaustion felt like it was catching up with me. And to make matters worse, I felt like I was starting to get sloppier. As in, it felt like my speed and power were almost regressing to how it was the first 2,000 reps or so. And after analyzing several hundred kicks in this phase, I started to realize I was developing more of this swinging the leg around motion, which was making it harder to land this kick with power, but also harder to land it accurately. So for a couple hundred reps, I went back to the drawing board, working on the turn, bringing the leg up, and then kicking it out like a donkey, rather than having so much swing. As you can see, this was kind of taking a lot of mind-body connection, and I really had to break it down into each little step. Now, as I picked up speed and reviewed the footage, I believed that this kick was looking better. Not only that, but I felt like I was landing, once again, with more power. And even so, more consistently. Things were looking on the way up, and I was knocking out the reps. Now, aside from a minor hamstring twinge, which went away in about a week, everything else was going pretty smooth. So I kept trucking along, doing 100 kicks each session with my eye on the prize, to finish these 10,000 reps in hopefully the next month or two. But little did I know I was about to endure one of the biggest setbacks I've had in a while. my back. Now, I suffered with reoccurring lower back problems over the last couple of years, but it was always something that went away in about a week or so. Now, during this challenge, it was around rep 5,000 where I started to notice my lower back beginning to ache. The only problem was this time the ache didn't feel like it was going away. In fact, it felt like it was gradually starting to get worse and worse.
I don't know, it's, just been gradually getting tighter and tighter, it feels like, after each and every training session of kicks. So I might actually just try to take a week off here. Take an entire week off, try to let it heal up. Hopefully I just avoid any injury that might be lurking.
So I took a week off, I returned, and didn't really feel much better. But I wanted to continue with this challenge so bad, so I powered through the pain for the next couple hundred reps. And to try to be proactive, I started spending an upward of 30 minutes a day just working on lower back rehabilitative exercises. But even with this, things were just not getting better. I was beginning to feel almost ill from this chronic lower back pain. And to make matters worse, I felt like my kicks were all of a sudden starting to get weaker. This had me very concerned because what if some sort of permanent nerve damage was going on? So I was finally convinced to get an MRI, or a scan of my lower back, to see what was going on once and for all. Now thankfully what the MRI showed was just 2 bulging discs between L4, L5, and S1. Now I say thankfully because even though this might sound bad, it is something that can heal with time and rest. The only problem here is that meant no more kicks for a while. Being so close to the finish line, this was super frustrating, but I think it was beneficial for the long run. Now I do just want to say I actually don't think it was the kicks that caused this injury. I actually think it was a combination of several different things that were lifting specific, but I think all the torsion force from the spin kick was aggravating this area and injury so bad that it was causing this constant flare up that was just getting worse and worse and worse. But now after an entire month off of doing anything that I felt was aggravating my lower back, I slowly started to get back into spinning back kick training. However, when I started back, I only started with 50 reps per session, and I really just worked on form and motion, really trying to pay attention to my lower back to hopefully not flare up anything again. Slowly bringing up my speed over the next couple hundred reps, I finally hit a big mental milestone. 9,001! It's over 9,000! Yeah, now something I really started to work on these final 1,000 reps as I picked up my speed was my balance after the kick, and also not turning back around after the kick, but rather stepping out. I heard this was a better way to do things because it didn't create a temporary blind spot.
It was a little off, but...
Another thing I really was getting control of was the ability to consciously make this kick more of a spinning back kick versus more of a spinning side kick. Although I'd argue it's pretty much the same motion, one is more back and one is more side. But just in case you're a form freak, don't think I neglected this thought. With only 500 reps to go, you think I would be excited, but I was nervous. Could something go wrong at any moment? I was praying it wouldn't, but thankfully my back was holding up, so I continued with 100 reps per session, taking the final weeks extremely serious, wanting to get this challenge done without any more problems. Focusing not only on the training sessions, but the recovery as well. Taking what I like to call my natty Wolverine stack, as well as trying to get adequate protein in, taking in the occasional protein shake. Speaking of protein shakes, I want to give a huge shout out to Transparent Labs for sponsoring this video. In my opinion, they have the best protein powder products on the planet. Not only did they somehow figure out the cross between mixability, flavor, and quality, but they don't use any artificial flavors, sweeteners, or colors like many other brands. On top of that, they also lab test their products for contaminants and consistency, results available on their website. I personally love their protein powders. I used them before they ever sponsored this channel, and I've recently been experimenting and using several other high quality products as well. If you're interested, you can use my affiliate link in the description for 10% off your entire order. Thank you.
100 reps.
Yeah, boy!
Didn't fall down on that last rep. Thank God that my back did not get messed up again. And thank God that I was able to complete this. I thought it was over so many times. I have no idea how this video is going to perform. It's totally something out of the blue here, but I'm thinking about exploring 10,000 reps more, and I have some other experiments in the work right now with 10,000 reps, and I have some more ideas I'm planning to do, like heavy bag kicks, like shin kicks, punching sand. Stay tuned for that. That's already on the way. Honestly, thank you so much for watching, guys. Shout out to Transparent Labs for sponsoring this video. Don't forget to subscribe, stay tuned, turn those notifications on. More videos coming out. Peace. I hope you all have a great day. I'll see you all in the next video.